Hey, notes from the first 2 weekends. Let's start with my own dumb mistakes, things I forgot. Step one, our truck lights work off of a generator, the same generator we used to warm up in the lot. So since we weren't warming up in the lot, I wasn't going to pack the generator. I thought, well, we don't need that. And luckily, at the last second, Dad's like, hey, aren't we like loading and unloading in the dark? Good call. So remember your generator if your truck needs it for that purpose, even though we're not into lot warm-ups yet. That being said, check out the possibility of outside warm-up at Nutter Center coming up. Step two, dumb things Mike forgot. Our trailer was actually, on Saturday going to Miamisburg, was actually behind a snowbank in the bus compound. It had snowed and they had plowed snow in front of it because I forgot to remind them, hey, the bus, our trailer's going out this weekend, so there was a big pile of snow. So myself and a dad and a truck driver were over there trying to chop enough snow to be able to get the tractor pulled up to the trailer and get it out of the bus compound. I had forgotten about that one. Checking the day before would have helped my cause tremendously. I didn't do that. So if you haven't been out yet or you're encountering some snow at some point, keep that in mind. I usually let my bus garage guys know when the trailer is going to go out, and I was just kind of out of practice and had forgotten to do that one. So that was on me. Wow. Always a good thing to walk the route. We had a few surprises in store for us. The first weekend out, I haven't heard of anything at Fairfield or Northmont, but a couple surprises on that one. So be on the lookout for that one. The other thing, we were getting ready to pack up for our first time, and I had forgotten to have someone take pictures of all the rack setup stuff. If you're like me, where there's a bunch of stuff hanging on a rack, and unless you take pictures or the kid is like amazing or something's labeled, you'll forget where things go. So I had forgotten to the last possible second, and suddenly one of the moms reminded me, hey, I think they usually take pictures of the rack setup, with a big question in her voice, and I was like, wow, good call. So I had forgotten that one. So I've been at this game a long time, and I've forgotten some stuff for the first couple weekends. My number one thing for groups I watched over the weekend, both the Miamisburg Bellbrook weekend, and then I wasn't at Fairfield, but I saw everybody at Northmont. Do have talked your kids through the floor setup, especially when they're different. Miamisburg and Bellbrook were roughly the same setup. Northmont was way different. So do talk them through that and have a plan. At the beginning, it's okay to walk through it. We did a walkthrough the Friday night before Miamisburg, and setup time, when I stopped my clock finally because I was so frustrated, we were already at 3 minutes and 15 seconds setup time. Well, that's not going to work anywhere. So we went ahead and did our run through and stuff, a couple runs, and talked about getting off the floor. And so the next day in rehearsal, we had to walk through it again. And we figured out a couple things. And no matter how much I had labeled the chords, unless I talked the kids through, hey, this chord goes here, this chord goes here, and we were used to doing things a little bit different way. So we had to walk through it 2 times. It's worth it. For the kids not to be rattled, it's well worth a walkthrough of that one. At Miamisburg, some groups had not done that, and I think we didn't set our kids up for success with that one. So my kids were able to deal with a couple of things that were unexpected that first weekend out because we had walked through it and everybody stayed calm. It's not such a big deal when nobody has their full show on yet, but as we get farther in the season, you get more and more show on the floor. That becomes a big deal. So do take time to do that one. The house power at MIPA shows is probably not going to come with a black extension cord. Unless your show has that bright optic orange, or in the case of, I think the other day was red, and one show it was yellow. In case that's part of your color scheme, that's great. If it's not, and you spend all this time on expensive carts and making the kids all look uniform and all the symbols nice and level, and then you run this orange extension cord out, no. So buy them. I just bought 2 of them at Lowe's. You can buy a black extension cord, run it from house power back to your setup, and then everything looks, nice dress, orchestral black, whatever you want it to be. If you need it to be a weird color, you can do that. No problem. All right, but I would do that. Almost every tape I ran Sunday at Northmont involved something to do with the color of your extension cord. Also be aware that anything that travels in on electric carts, and we all like to put stuff on top of synth carts, we're all guilty of it. An extra mitt, this cord, your pair of sticks, that pair of pliers I was fixing, we're all guilty of that. All right, put it underneath the synth cart where it's out of view. Somebody did their entire run through at Northmont with a cup of coffee sitting on the synth cart. Don't even keep me started on that to begin with, but I watched your whole show with a cup of coffee sitting on your synth cart, so be aware of that. Band-aids sometimes like to put big bright orange straps on speakers or cord winders and things like that, or handles to make it easier to get in and out. Again, we spend so much money on carts or on things like that. Just a quick hit with some spray paint or covering some stuff up with some black gaff tape will go a long way. It was enjoyable to see some groups again at Northmont. I got to watch all morning long. It was great. I think there are some people off to great starts out there. I would encourage you to get more and more show on the floor. We don't really have an excuse in Ohio right now. I think we've all had about one, maybe a day and a half of snow days, so we don't really have an excuse right now. So make sure we're getting the product out there on the floor. Okay? Best of luck. We're off this coming weekend, and I think everybody, I think the world is another center show. So good luck. Hope you have great rehearsals. Luckily, somebody's warming up my front ensemble right now. Best of luck, guys.